guest knows a little something about creating jobs and keeping a budget. The former CEO of Godfather's Pizza now tackling our nation's debt, and his plan to close the budget gap a lot different than President Obama's. Joining me now from Nashville, Tennessee is 2012 GOP presidential candidate Herman Cain. Good to see you, Mr. Cain, again.
Hello, Gretchen. Thank you.
All right, now I don't want to use too many puns with your name, but apparently you're raising Cain right now over this debt ceiling. How would you do it?
It's okay.
How would you do it differently than President Obama?
Well, Gretchen, first of all, I need to correct one thing you just said. While I do know how to create jobs, I have never actually done it. You see, during my time at Godfather's, we made a lot of money. Now that part is absolutely true, but job creation was never a part of it. In fact, we had to reduce our workforce by nearly 30%. Now, unfortunately, that is what you have to do sometimes when you're getting serious. And you know, I always try to get serious when I'm turning a profit. Now, while usually I don't like to admit to making mistakes, in this case, I think I have to for the good of the country. Now, I will no longer run for the office of president because there is a much better man for that position. His name is Ron Paul.
So much of this, Mr. Cain, has been about the public relations. I mean, yet again today, we have dueling press conferences. 9 a.m. the House Republicans, 11 a.m. the president again, and yet not a meeting to actually talk about the meat of the deal. So I'm wondering if you were president, would you, as a Republican, suggest to other Republicans that maybe they should compromise, or would you stand firm?
I would stand firm, in my opinion, that Ron Paul has the perfect plan for how we can solve the current debt ceiling problems by having both parties compromise. Now, as you know, I usually have a 4-point plan to resolve these kinds of issues, but since this is Ron Paul's plan, and you know he likes to cut out waste, so in this case, he would only allow me 2 points. First, point number 1. Go to the Democrats and tell them they need to cut $750 million from this year's budget, and they must have complete control to cut anything they want. Now, point number 2. Go to the Republicans and tell them they have to cut $750 million from this year's budget, and they can cut anything they want. Now, just like that, we have balance the budget, and there is no longer any need to raise the debt ceiling. So you see, Ron Paul is a master of compromise, and that is why I am supporting him for president in 2012.
Feel about these credit rating institutions now that are coming out with very bad news. Moody's first, now the S&P. In fact, S&P is saying even if we do come to a debt deal, we still might downgrade the United States. So that doesn't scare you even a little bit?
No, that does not worry me in the least, because as long as we have a man like Ron Paul in the office as President of the United States, we will not need to borrow any money. So it does not matter what the credit rating agencies think. I mean, who are they? They are nobody. Screw those guys. When Ron Paul is president, we are going to stop wasting money and American lives on illegal and immoral wars. Now, we are going to pay the Social Security payments to our older citizens who we have tricked into depending on the government for their welfare. We are going to get rid of the Department of Education, all the other wasteful departments that are unconstitutional, and set the people free so that they can regain pride in taking care of themselves. Now, Ron Paul will get big government off the backs of all the people and make big business start to pay its own way without the benefit of the military-industrial complex, or as I like to call it, the military-industrial hog trough.
I know that you believe the tax code should be replaced with a fair tax. Do you think that sort of a major undertaking could actually happen within these talks with time running out?
Absolutely not. Because when Ron Paul is president, we will not need a fair tax because we will not have an income tax. Now, as you know, Ron Paul is a surgeon, and he is going to just cut the taxes because he's going to cut the spending. This is what I like to call fiscal surgery.
All right. Well, fantastic. Thanks so much for explaining how you would handle this debt ceiling crisis. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.